And don't come at me all annoyed because this isn't a tutorial. You've been given fair warning of the chaos this video will be. Okay, here's the deal. I am in recovery mode after the delightfully successful break in my routine that was my England trip. You know how it goes. You change up your routine, you do something different, and then when you come back, all of the things that you would have been doing are still there, and you still have to do them. Oh, squishy scratchies. I could take a week off of posting, but I don't really want to. I like hanging out with you. Also, I have a solid list of like small projects, things that I want to get done, things that I want to try, but they don't really seem big enough to take up an entire video. So we are going to finally knock one of those projects off the list, hang, chill, chat, also go on a ton of side quests. Because like, what better time to accomplish all of these tiny little things that'll probably only take me 5 minutes, yeah? Great. Let's do it. Citrus slice pillows. I can no longer remember why this idea came into my head. Did I see some somewhere, or did I just like look at a slice of lemon and think, oh my god, that could be a pillow? No clue anymore, but they've been on the list long enough that I have managed to actually slowly source the necessary materials. I don't even have a room in this house where citrus pillows would logically blend in, mostly because I've only renovated this one room. But still, I'm committed. I want them. We're doing it. Supplies. I have yellow, green, and orange fabric. Lemon, lime, orange. Go away. Also, I have white fabric because citrus fruits have pith. But also, I have these mottled polka dot fabrics. They're only a fat quarter, but I thought they would be perfect for the inside segments of the fruit because they kind of look like, you know, that texture, or they at least like imply that texture. And with these, I found a pink one, so I could theoretically do a grapefruit as well, only I don't think that I have any matching fabric to be the outside, to be the rind. That almost seems too pink for a grapefruit. I don't know, let's go check actually. Ooh! For comparison. I mean, that is a really specific color. Kind of more orange than pink. That's the closest fabric I have to it. That's actually a really good match. But I don't know if you put those two together that your brain would necessarily go, grapefruit. Also, that's probably not enough. I'll keep it on the back burner. Or in the fruit drawer. Jokes. I had been looking for circular or like disc shaped, I guess, like pre-made pillow forms for ages. That makes it sound like I've been actively looking. No, it's more like every time that I went to Joann in the last 6 months, I would go dig through their pillow form section and then be surprised that their content hadn't changed. Yeah, I didn't find any, I didn't want to order any, and so I was like, it's fine, I'll just stuff them, I have stuffing. Then, on my last trip to Joann, I had the forethought to walk around to the other side from the pillow forms, which is their foam section, and I saw these. At first I was thinking these are too thin, they're too sharp angled, and then I remembered what the actual real life thing that I'm trying to replicate looks like. These are exactly right. This is a lemon slice shape blown up. So yeah, I have 4 if I want to try out the grapefruit. Yeah. There are 2 ways to do this logically in my brain. The first would be circle of the colored fabric, with a circle of the white fabric on top of that, and then the segment shapes of the polka dot fabric on top of that. The second would be circle of the polka dot fabric with the shape of like the pith cut out and put on top of that, and then a ring of the solid colored fabric put on top of that. The latter uses less fabric technically, though what's left over is gonna be in really weird shapes, while the former has a lot less persnickety cutting. So I think I'm gonna go with that on the first one and see how it goes, and then I can always switch to the other option on the later ones, if I want to. Yeah, but assuming I have enough fabric, it's just that on either side and then a long rectangle to go all the way around the side, the edge, and that's it. Citrus slice pillow seems simple enough. Before I even start cutting out though, let's side quest. I'm making myself do side quest number 1 before I even start the pillows because it's important and I've been putting it off for a while. Several of my houseplants need attention, starting with Reginald, who has been dropping leaves at an alarming rate. His soil is still damp despite not being watered for weeks, so I'm gonna repot him with some new drier soil and better drainage in the bottom, and while I'm at it, throw a stake in there, cause he's a little wobbly. Chester is honestly doing okay, but he's been leaning more and more forward throughout his life, and I really want to stake him as well, keep him a bit more upright. Then there's Fitzwilliam, who is absolutely thriving. This has been making me question if I'm supposed to be pruning him though, so I'm finally gonna look that up. I don't know much about houseplants, I just try to keep these guys alive. And unfortunately, we did lose Stella. She slowly gave up on life over the course of the last year and finally had to be relinquished to the compost bin. I decided to leave Fitzy as he is though. He looks glorious. I'm gonna leave it. Let him do his thing. Finally, Edith's 4 children and the unnamed bird of paradise, it's new, I'll take name suggestions, are both in the sunniest place in the house, and therefore, I've realized they need more water than the rest. Okay, let's actually do the thing now. I'm gonna start with the orange because if there's one that gets totally messed up and doesn't look as good, I'm okay with it being the orange. I want the lemon and the lime ones to look nice. I should iron this. Like legit, I should iron this because this is gonna require some pretty precise cutting. Okay, this isn't a side quest, this is part of the thing, but I'm gonna go iron all of these and I'll be right back. Ironing in the summer, so unpleasant. Here's how I did this. I laid the foam on top of the fabric and gave myself a generous inch seam allowance all the way around since I have plenty of the orange, then cut out both circles at the same time. I then proceeded to measure the circumference of these circles so professionally, because this is for some reason easier than doing a quick math calculation. The strip around the edge is longer than my fabric, so I'll have to do it in 2 pieces, and again, I gave myself very generous seam allowances in all directions. For the white circle inside, I folded the fabric and used the radius to mark out a half circle, cut that out, checked it was all good, and then cut out a second one to match. Then for the segments. That's not much to work with. I think I need a pattern piece. How many segments? 6? Should I do this in Photoshop? Potentially I could do it in Photoshop a lot faster. Let's try that. I ended up going with 8 segments. It seemed to fit better, and printed one out in, theoretically, the proper size. But could 16 segments fit on one fat quarter? It wasn't looking good. Seemed like I could get 14, a number so irritatingly close that I immediately determined to best this fat quarter, even if it meant drawing every single segment on one at a time. I'm nothing if not highly competitive against inanimate objects. I won. Yeah! Room to spare. Ta-da! Y'all, I am already so happy with this. I mean, why did I want to make citrus pillows? I think because I knew for some reason it will just bring me so much joy. Even just looking at it in the camera, I'm like, it's so cute. I do think on the next ones, I want to make these segments slightly smaller so that they're not touching at their widest point. It literally might be the difference of cutting to the inside of the black line instead of the outside. But again, the orange was the first one, it's the tester one. It's okay if they're not all exactly the same. So I'm gonna leave it on here because trimming 16 segments down by like 2 millimeters sounds unpleasant. Last thing to cut out, which I might not end up using because I don't know if it'll be too hard to sew on, but I thought, wouldn't it be so cute if I put little seeds in a couple of them, right? Oh my God, yeah, that would look really cute. But my concern here is that they would be so small that it would be really hard to sew around them. So I'll cut out a few and I will test it on the orange and we'll see how that goes. I guess just maybe like a teardrop shape, kinda. Just gonna totally freehand it. Oh, well, that's not exactly good. Yeah. It's just so small. I'm like, is that gonna not read once I sew around it? I don't know. Something like that? Does it make it look more like an orange or does it look weird? Luckily, I have time to think about it. Let's go sew it together. Just kidding, no. It's time for another side quest. These pants, love them. Wore them in England twice. They're great, but I made the elastic channel too good. I made it like exactly the size of the elastic, which of course means that the elastic doesn't want to fit in it. You're supposed to make elastic channels slightly bigger than the elastic so that it will continue to lay flat. And yeah, it's like all folded in half in there. So all I have to do is go around the whole thing and make a new stitch like 1/4 of an inch above this one, and then rip out the original stitch. Easiest thing ever. They have been hanging there since I got home from England though. We're doing it now. What is the back and what is the front? I'm not even gonna take them off the hanger. Boom, baby. Now I just gotta unpick the first seam, lay the whole thing out flat, and then the side quest is done. Totally gonna turn on some TV while I do that. Whoa! Boom, done. Back to the pillows. Here's the plan. So you just use like the zigzag stitch on 0 stitch length, I guess. I'm switching to one of my like related presser feet since I have them. This one just kind of is more open in the front so you can see where you're going. And yeah, I have literally never tried anything like this, but how hard can it be on a bunch of curves? We're about to find out. This is a thing that a lot of people do a lot, and I'm sure I will get much advice on how I could be doing it better. But that's okay. You don't have to be doing something the best way possible to enjoy doing it. We're doing a zigzag. We're doing, ooh. I should test this on not the actual thing, shouldn't I? I really should. Okay, let's get some scraps. Scraps. Okay, ooh. There was a presser foot that I was all like, why would you need this? That had a gap on the back so that a zigzag stitch that's thick would pass under it without getting stuck. Where's that presser foot? Let's do a 5. Should I lighten the tension? I think I'm okay with this. Right as I was about to start sewing on the real piece, I remembered that interfacing is a thing, an especially great thing for doing applique on thin cotton. Sometimes I do remember helpful things. And then I told myself I'd go slow and be careful, and of course, promptly did not do that, which meant that there was unpicking to do before I'd even finished one layer. But check out that ASMR. Round 2 was better. I still went just as fast, but the puckering wasn't as bad, so huzzah. Okay. Not too bad. I did end up cutting down the segments ever so slightly because they weren't really fitting as well as before. Then I started doing the applique stitch around them one by one, but I wasn't loving it. Okay, so some thoughts. First of all, I still love these. But second of all, this one is kind of a mess. I think I'm not gonna do the typical applique stitch all the way around. This one, I did it on all of the segments. It doesn't look good. It stretched things out weird. There's a lot of puckering. The zigzag stitch is not always perfectly full, and then in the places where I went over so that it wouldn't unravel, like you can see that it's like that. And the thing is, I was doing just a straight stitch around each segment to hold it down first, and then when I looked at that, I was like, I kind of like that better. The orange was practiced for a reason. I'm gonna let it be funky on one side, but I'm pretty sure, not I'm pretty sure, I am sure, I've made this decision. I'm gonna leave the second side like this, without adding any of the zigzag sort of more applique stitch. And then the next two, I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm just gonna straight stitch it. I just think it looks better in itself, and it makes the entire piece look better because it doesn't stretch things out and like mess things up as much. So that's the plan. I'm gonna iron both of these, and then we'll stick the strip around the edge and see if we can get it on the foam. That'll be fun. I don't really know how I'm doing that. How am I doing that? Okay, I figured it out. Also, I love the seeds. The seeds were a good choice. I think it's so cute. I have to remember that I did an inch seam allowance on this, or we are gonna have trouble. In retrospect, more seam allowance makes it more difficult to sew in a circle. Oh well. Well, there were no more side quests last night. I got extremely focused to the point where I wouldn't even check my phone, and Matt had to come feed me Pringles because I was starving, but I refused to stop sewing. Also, it is a new day. Outfit repeating. But I really just wanted to finish the orange, and I did it. But before I talk about what's wrong and what's right and what needs to change, because whoo, don't look at the other side, let's side quest. So my favorite nursery that I go to has several of these glass hot air balloons. And of course I really wanted one, so I finally got myself one. That was like 3 months ago. Here's the thing. I took it out of the car, and as I was moving it, I, wiggled it a little bit, and the noise that came from inside is the noise of brokenness. And I so very badly didn't want to open this and find out it's broken that I stuck it on the dresser and didn't touch it for 3 months. I gotta just open it and find out. It's gotta be done. Those among you who do not have weird brains are like, why would you just not open it immediately, find out if it's broken, and then return it? Yeah. I hate returning things. I pretty much never, ever return things. For some reason, the effort it requires is just an effort my brain does not want to give. Same reason why the door that won't close and can't have a doorknob put on it is still on my studio, because I struggle with stuff like that. Okay. That's fine. It's packed super well, so I don't know why it would be broken. Yo, you know what that sound was, I think? I think it was the chain that holds it. Well, yay! 3 months later, I finally have my hot air balloon that's been sitting there, unbroken. Y'all. Oh my god, it's precious and it's perfectly fine. Whoo! Well, kids, let this be a lesson to you all. Is there anything you've been avoiding? How about you go do it when this video's over? I do have to figure out how to hang this, but that's fine. The ball has started rolling, so now I won't have that much trouble, I don't know, kicking it all the way down the hill? I don't know where that metaphor was going. So, Sorry, there's pins on that side. It doesn't look bad on this side. I should have cut this on the bias. While I was cutting it out, something in my brain was like, you do realize you're sewing a straight rectangle onto a circle. You should be cutting it on the bias. And then I decided to ignore my brain in that moment. My brain was right. It was very hard to sew these two sides together with the strip in the center, even harder to iron it. So the back side looks pretty wonky, which is why it's now the back. But that's okay, because I knew the orange was gonna be the practice run, and it still looks fine to me on this side. I had extra length in my side strip here, and I fitted it to the circle. I should have fitted it to the styrofoam, to this piece here. And then if it was the perfect size to go around this, then when I went to sew it onto the circle, it would have made the circle the perfect size, yeah? Instead, I think it was too big, so I ended up with a lot of wrinkling. I have learned things. We're gonna make the lemon next. Limes are my favorite, so I'm leaving lime till last. Oh, another thing I forgot to mention is that giving myself the massive seam allowances was not actually helpful. It just made it harder to sew, and then I had to cut it off in the end. So we're going back to 1/4 inch seam allowances. Save fabric. Okay, no, never mind. We're doing 1/2 inch. 1/4 inch makes me scared. It's not enough. Ooh, since I'm doing this on the bias, I can also do it as one piece because, you know, more space on the diagonal. Also, why didn't I think to measure the circumference like this? I'm not always smart on the first try, y'all. 50 inches, exactly. It's okay to not be smart on the first try. That's why we do second tries and third tries. You've got more troubles than minutes in the year. Okay, point shoemaking. Y'all, somebody just shared with me the Heritage Crafts Red List, which is something made in England about hand-done crafts that are extinct or endangered. This makes me want to take up every single craft and art form on this list. What? This is fascinating information to me. There's straight up extinct skills. Gold beating? What is gold beating? The process of hammering gold into extremely thin sheets. So I guess it's just done by machines nowadays, so there's currently no one left who knows how to do it by hand. Okay, this was not an official side quest, but I could spend ages on this list. Oh, all right. You don't need to see this. Here we go again. 16 of these. Whoa! I literally ran out of thread, bobbin thread, 2 stitches in and only just now realized. Why? Oh my God. Pay attention, kids. Good grief. Anyway. Y'all. First of all, world's better, on the bias, every time. Second of all, this would also make an adorable purse, would it not? I did not leave myself a very big hole this time, so I need a second hand. Do I? Let's try. Yay! Okay, I'm gonna leave the hand stitching for later and go ahead and make the lime. But first, side quest time! Let's go. This pillow has been on our bed for probably like 2 years now. It's not what we sleep on, it's just like a backing pillow for propping up while reading and stuff, but I've been meaning to put a cover on it so I have something washable for, 2 years now. I think people assume that if you're a sewist, you must have mended all your clothing, fixed everything that can be fixed with a needle and thread, made any little helpful thing you need around the house, but the reality is that no, we probably haven't. This stuff isn't as fun as making a new garment or quilt or bag or whatever it is you love making, so it just gets forgotten, put off, knocked to the bottom of the list. But all I did was cut a giant rectangle out of one of the sheets from my bedsheet exploration, sew it up into a tube, and finish the top edge. So freaking quick. Lime time! Well, plum time and then lime time. I'm gonna leave the grapefruit because there's not enough of that outer fabric, but if I find the perfect material in the future, I might whip it up and finish the collection. For now, it's just more of the same. Cut out all the pieces, stitch up the two sides, put them together, stuff it. But I only have this color. I don't have a good color for this, or the piece that I do have is not big enough. All right, I made a very small hole, so I did this on dangerous. Let's not make a mess. Taco it, and then it has to go in this way and then flatten out. Okay, I think you've done enough. Let me finish it before you ruin it.
Aren't you so excited?
And again, I'll do the little bit of hand sewing tonight on the couch while watching TV. There will be hors d'oeuvres. Y'all, I honestly had so much fun with this project. Where's my coffee? I hope you enjoyed it as well. It was a blast. These are so cute. They make me so happy. I have no idea where I'm gonna put them in this house. Also, that hot air balloon is making me so freaking happy as well. But also, I got so many other little random things done, finally. And I hope this can be an encouragement to you, a fire under your tushy, I don't know, whatever it needs to be. Do you have a side quest that you've been needing to get done for days, weeks, months, years? Is there something you've been putting off that would probably only take you 5 to 30 minutes, but brain says no? Can this be your motivation to go tackle that today? Today. Tackle it today. And then come tell me in the comments that you tackled it, and I will applaud you. You can also just applaud yourself. Also tell me if you make citrus pillows, cause these are fun. And they're not that hard. Cut your side strips on the bias. That's the key. You know, I said I was gonna be so chatty in this video, and I actually wasn't. I kind of was like, getting stuff done mode. But the chatty that I did in chat is that when I got back from England, I had 4 videos to edit, including those 2 travel ones, which are always a lot harder for me to edit. I love the way they turned out, and thank you so much for like so many kind words on them. You guys really seem to love them too, which I appreciate. Travel vlogs usually do not do very well, but everyone just left such kind words on that one. You're making me want to do more. But yeah, they're harder to edit because they are almost entirely shot on my phone, which means you end up with just like hundreds of little short videos that you have to put together. It's kind of overwhelming. And then I also had like 2 sponsorships that I had to think about. So there was just like a lot of, you have to get this done at a specific time. And I got all of that done and then realized that I have this open week. But I always have more time than I think I have. Like, I know how fast I work. I know how much I can get done. And I assign myself the amount of work that I can get done. And then panic about it a little bit because I decide I can't trust myself, when honestly I'm usually correct. There's a lot of me against me in my life. That's what happens when you're your own boss. So all that to say, I've gotten through the initial like whoo of getting back from a break, and I'm really glad that I took the time to do a small project that brought me so much joy, and some other small projects, and make a video. So all of that to say, I had fun. I hope you had fun. Thanks for being here. See you next week. Waiting on the AC. Oh, thank you. Okay, we're doing great. Yeah. Possibly it's blood.
I hate mail.
Mail is the worst. Stay. Gotta use your tum-tum for something. Shh, don't tell, but the actual first side quest is just me going poop.